Hi, it's Sue. For my next video, I am going to use some of the papers that we inked and stained with paint in the last video. And I mentioned that I was going to scan these into the computer, and I've done that, and I'll show you the results here. So this one, which was done on tissue, that's how that came up on a scan. It's quite interesting, the colours in the background of that one. I quite like it. Of course, the gold doesn't show, doesn't sparkle, but you can see where I've added the gold. So that was good. This one that I added the Balm d'Or, the pinky red, this is how this one came out. Actually changes the colour, the pinky red, makes it a bit deeper. Actually, they'd probably go that way around. Yeah, that's it there. I don't know whether you can see that. So you can see the difference in the colours. See here, it's paler. It's the same spot, but it's interesting. And then this was the last one. And again, you know, it's darkened it up a bit. Perhaps not quite so noticeable, but I love the colours along the bottom here. Really good. They came out really well. So yeah, pretty happy with those. And we'll see what we work with today. Okay, so I've torn some strips off my papers, and I thought today what I would do was make some cluster type tuck spots. I'm thinking on a page, say at the top of the page, but able to tuck underneath. So I've made one up, and I'm just picking. I have in a box, I've got all sorts of cuts, circles, all sorts from card making days. And I thought I'd use some of those as the base for these little clusters. So that's one. I'm using tissue, and that's a piece of the paper that we worked on earlier. And I've just stitched and left the threads. Not sure whether that will stay like that, but for the moment, yes, that's how it is. So the image, or all of the images I'm using today, are from the vintage photo collection of Ruby and Pearl. I've used them before, particularly this little girl. I think she's just the cutest little thing. So yeah, that's what I'm using. Scraps of paper, bits of lace, some labels, book page, so on and so forth. Okay, now this one, I've got them pretty much sorted out so that I don't flaff around. That's the shape I'm working with. Okay, that was a Spellbinders die. And I'm going to use a piece of the tissue that particularly has the gold there. Some book page. That's from one of the really old books, Longfellow, I think. And I haven't done anything other than tear it out of the page. I might just in case you see any of this, once it's on. But basically I'm going to layer up all these bits to make a cluster. And I'm going to play you some music while I do this, so you don't have to listen to me rabbit. And you can just watch the process. Okay. Okay, so last one. This one, I'm going to use this shape, but I'm also going to use this. But I want to first of all sponge this with some colour. I'm going to sponge it with antique linen. So let's just grab my brush. I want it more on the edge, or darker on the edge at least, so you won't see all of this. Okay, let's start with that and see how we go. And this is where I start messing around. Move that out. Put that there. That there. Okay, I'm just going to go and do a bit of stitching and I will be back. Okay, so I sewed down this one. Actually, I ran out of thread right there, look, and I haven't backtracked enough. Never mind. Yeah, so there are little clusters, tuck spots really. This little one, and basically they would sit on your page. Let's get the journal in. I would stick that on the page up near the top there and just have it as a tuck spot underneath, so that you could tuck in a tag, a journaling card, whatever. Quite nice. And that one a bit smaller. I mean, that could even go to the side and be a tuck spot that way. I love this little one. Or even down at the bottom. Oh, let's try that again in frame, hey? So basically, these are your tuck spots. Just attach them to your page. Down here. Or at the top. Or at the side, this one. Have it as a side tuck. Have to glue a little bit better. This one, same, it could go at the bottom, you can pull this off, tuck that way, this one is a bit bigger, this would have to go in one of my bigger journals, I think, but they're fun. Really nice, just using scraps and pretty photos. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for calling past. I hope you enjoyed these little clusters, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.